Hi everybody, I'm Mike with SuccessToolChest.com and FindAMentor.com. Welcome to Help Me Communicate. Today we're going to talk about active and reflective listening, and I'm going to give you some tips about two-way communications in your business. Communicating. I'm here to help give you some tools on communicating. And how many people here like two-way communications more than they like one-way communication? When I ask that question in a workshop, everybody prefers to have two-way communication to one-way communication. Two-way communication simply means that we allow both people in an interaction to participate. God gave us two ears and two eyes and one mouth for a reason. We're supposed to watch and listen twice as much as we speak. Oh, sorry. Is everybody hearing me? Is there a comment there? Anybody? It looks like the volume is correct. Okay. So imagine what it would be like if we had two mouths, one eye, and one ear. It would be chaos, and it would look awfully funny. People need to have. We need to listen and watch twice as much as we speak. That's what the message is by the simple construction of our bodies. So I want to talk about active listening specifically because often people complain about other people's, they don't feel like they're being listened to. They don't feel like they matter. And active listening is about engaging other people. It's about giving the other person the message that they matter. In our contact system, we follow a 7-step framework for effective communications. The first step, C in contact, stands for consciousness now. Become aware of our human interaction process. And that's simple. We sense something first with one of our 5 physical senses. When we're interacting with another person, usually it's we're seeing things and hearing things. After that, we see something, we hear something, we get a thought process going. We also have an emotion or a feeling underlying that. As humans, we're sensing, we're feeling and thinking beings. So we sense something, we think something, we feel something, then we gain an intention. And it's in that intention part of the process that we actually turn into salespeople. As we interact with other people all day long, we sense, we think, we feel, we intend, and then we act. And in that intention process, we want to influence somebody, and we want an outcome. And if we're always selling something in this human interaction process that we're doing all day long, that means that we should attune to Brian Tracy's rule. If you want to sell something, it's best to shine the light on the prospect rather than on the product or ourselves. And in shining the light on the prospect, we are making them feel like they matter. We're making them feel like we're attending to what they're saying. So consciousness now starts with being aware of me. Then the second part is to out myself. The third part, and outing ourselves, sharing our human interaction process. The third part of contact is to notice the other person. Ask about their human interaction process. What did you just see? What did you just hear? How do you feel about that? What do you think about that? And what's your intention? What do you want? In that process, we go from there, we go into tuning into the next person. This is where active listening kicks in. And after we've asked what's going on for the other person, and we're shining the lights on them, that's when we want to actively listen. And the first part of active listening is stop everything you're doing and snap onto the other person. Bob Vaughn, a co-coach of mine that works with some of the same clients on coaching them on communications, because people get different things from different people. And so I encourage my clients to use more than one communications coach. And he says to snap on. Snapping on means turning away from the computer, turning away from the phone, and snapping on to the other individual. Get a soft gaze. Don't stare at them. Don't give them that staring eye contact, but a soft gaze to show that you're interested. Your facial expression needs to show interest. So you want to develop a genuine interest in other people. That comes across in our in our facial expression, in our body language. Keep your body language open for active listening. If I'm closed like this, it's not showing that I'm really caring about the other person. If I'm open and my facial expression is open and I've got a soft gaze on the other person, I'm snapped on, I'm not paying attention to other things, they think that I'm listening to them. And that's a good thing. It makes them feel important, makes them engage. Make sure you've got enough physical space with the other person. If I'm right in the other person's face, it can turn them off. It can shut them down. It can get them on the defensive. If I'm too far away, they might not think that I care too much. If I'm always gazing away, they might not think that I care too much. So snap on, keep a safe distance between you, get a soft gaze. That's all active listening. The other important thing is to turn off the internal chatter. Often when we're listening to other people, we've got responses going on to what's going on for them before they finish talking. Invoke your patience. Get in touch with your patients. Let the other person finish what they're saying before you allow your internal chatter to take over your mind. That goes to step 2 of don't interrupt the other person. A couple of years ago, my son was over visiting. And, I'm a great communicator when I'm working because I coach communication and information flow in businesses. Listening and two-way communication is critical to that process. And so I'm a good listener. But when we feel really safe or we really want somebody to get what we're saying, often we interrupt other people. And my son said to me a couple of years ago, "Dad, stop interrupting me." And I looked at him. I was a little bit surprised. I looked over at my wife. She said, "Yeah, you're interrupting him all the time." I said, "Okay, son, if I interrupt you, please tell me that I'm interrupting you. I'll stop and I'll go back to focusing on my listening. So just correct me whenever I'm interrupting." And I gave him permission to do that. And he did that. And over the next couple months, I got much better at listening with my son because he checked my habit. And every time he checked my habit, I changed my habit. And now I've got a new habit where I mostly listen to him when he's talking to me, and it's made the relationship stronger. So get some feedback from other people on how your listening skills are. Do you interrupt? Do you snap on? Or are you always looking at the computer or looking at the phone when other people are talking to you? Get that feedback so you know that your active listening is actually effective. Get the feedback. Do you crowd other people? Do you stand too far away? Get the feedback. Do you stare at other people? Or are you always looking away? You want that soft gaze. So active listening, in retrospect, is to snap on, get some eye contact, keep your body uncrossed and open, have a genuine interest to what's going on, turn off your internal chatter, don't interrupt, wait for the other person to stop talking, invoke your patience. All that leads to active listening. So that's the fourth part of the contact system, tuning into the other person. The fifth part of the contact system takes into account what we call reflective listening. So reflective listening is making sure that we got it right. A in contact stands for amplify and clarify what you heard. Amplifying and clarifying what you heard simply means we want to make sure that our interpretations of what the other person's said is correct. And to do that, we do what we call reflective listenings. And there's three ways to do effective reflective listening. And the first way is called paraphrasing. And that is simply repeating back what the other person said in my own words. So here's what I heard you said, and here's how I interpret that, and I repeat it back in my own words. Am I correct? And the questions that we ask in reflective listening is making sure that we've got it right. Am I correct? So for paraphrasing is repeating back in my own words what I just heard the other person say. So here's what the words I heard you say, and here's my interpretation of those words. Am I correct? The second type of clarifying and amplifying what we've heard and reflective listening, second type is to use mirroring. Repeat back the exact words that the person said. So you said these words. Am I correct? Are those the words that you said? Did I get that right? And just clarify that. And in this process of paraphrasing and mirroring the exact words, we get more clear and accurate on what the other person said. The third type of reflective listening is a little method called parroting. So if somebody says a word, what we do in parroting is simply repeat back that word with a quick question to get them to embellish or speak more about that word. You said you were frustrated. Tell me more about that. And so I'm repeating back the one word, frustrated, and asking them to tell me more about that. So this whole reflective listening is about getting it right, making sure that we understand exactly what the other person said. So in the contact system, then a quick reference is we, A, get conscious now. That's what the C stands for. Become aware of my human interaction process. B, out myself effectively using I statements and the right questions. In our contact system, we tell you what words to use and what words not to use, how to use the word I, how to use the word you. So we share our HIP in step 2 of contact, outing ourselves. N stands for notice the other person. We ask about their human interaction process. T stands for tuning in. Get in touch with your active listening skills and use those in the tune in part of the contact process. A stands for amplify and clarify. Use your reflective listening skills. Use paraphrasing. Use mirroring. Use parroting. Get clear on what they said. Now that we're clear on what is going on for me in my hip and clear what's going on for the other person in their hip, then we can move to step 6 of the contact system. C, the second C stands for finding common ground. We get the person to say yes 3 times. And the simplest way to do that is, because we're clear on what their human interaction process is, we get them to say yes by just making sure that we understood them correctly. This is the words, this is what you saw and what you heard. Yeah, and they get yes first time. This is how you thought about that, what you witnessed. Yep. This is how you felt about what you witnessed. Yep. And this is what you want. Yep. And we've got the 4 yeses. We found some common ground. We share what's going on for us. We say, okay, so here's a possible solution. And we go back and forth until we find that solution. Then we take the conversation, that's what T in contact stands for, take it to the next level by agreeing to a resolution and then recording it down. That's the contact system. And 2 very important parts of that are active and reflective listening, making sure we understand what's going on with the other person. So that's how to use the active and reflective listening and one-on-one interactions with other people. Now I want to talk to you about two-way communications in your business, because every Wednesday I include a little business segment on communications and effective communications. And two-way communications is critical in business. If I want my business to progress and get better, it's important that I know what's going on. And the only way to know what's going on in my business is to listen to the stakeholders. And in any business, we have 4 stakeholders. We have customers, we have employees, we have suppliers, and we have shareholders. And in a 4-win formula for business, happy customers, happy employees, happy suppliers makes happy shareholders. That's how you get happy shareholders, by making sure the other 3 components are happy. To make sure they're happy, the best way to do that is to have two-way communication. So with customers, the way to get two-way communications is to do customer surveys. Whether your staff does it or you get an outside company, do customer surveys once a year or every 6 months or once every couple of years, but find out how your customers are perceiving you. Get the communication flowing 2 ways through surveys. With employees, you want two-way communication. A, you want to give them feedback on how they're doing well. So have a consistent review system. In that review system, make sure there's two-way communications. Get them to give some ratings on the company as you give them ratings on their performance. So when I design a review system for any company, the first 4 or 5 questions are for feedback on the company. How are we doing with communication and information flow in your opinion? How is our leadership styles in your opinion? How what's our safety program like? Or what's our customer service program like? Or how do we treat suppliers? Pick 4 or 5 important questions and get some feedback from your employees on how they perceive the company. Now, if there's a pattern in that feedback process, then there's an issue that needs to be resolved. If 1 out of 10 people says that you need better communication flow, well, then maybe they're not so accurate. Maybe that person needs to be replaced because they're not in line with the rest of the team. But if 8 out of 10 are telling you that you need to improve leadership skills or you need to improve communications processes, then that's a message for you to make your company a better program. In that review system, the second part of the review system for the two-way communication is to make sure typically the next 4 or 5 pages, so typically a review is about 3 or 4 pages of questions. The first 5 questions are feedback on the company. The next 15 or 20 questions is about, or statements are about getting feedback on the employee. And in that process, I make sure the employee gives themselves a rating and the leader gives them the employee a rating, and we talk about those 2 ratings and make sure we're on the same page. Again, it promotes two-way communications. The third part of two-way communications for your business is to talk to your suppliers. How are we doing? Are our orders accurate? Are our returns too many? Are they just right? Are we paying on time? Are we selling enough of your product? Could we sell more? Get the two-way communication going with your suppliers. If you have good two-way communication with your customers, your employees, and your suppliers, you will have a strong company and have happy shareholders. So that's today's message. Get in touch and develop your active listening skills and your reflective listening skills for your one-on-one communications in the business that you work in. Encourage the business. If you're the owner, set up the systems for the two-way communications with the customers, the employees, and the suppliers. And if you are a worker, suggest that we put in some systems for two-way communications with those groups of people, and we guarantee that you will have happier shareholders if you've got the happy customers, suppliers, and employees. That's today's talk on Help Me Communicate. I hope those tips help you out in the next little while. If you want to become a great communicator, sign into successtoolchest.com and sign up for our Contact Communications and Masterminding program, where we give you 5 hours of video training on how to become a great communicator. You can take the program at your leisure. It's only $89, less than the price of a concert ticket or a good fight ticket. And your communication skills development is your #1 important tool to take you to success. So sign up for that program, become a great communicator, develop your good communication skills, habits, and you will notice that you progress further in your life, both in business and in personal life. For a quick overview of the HIP, the human interaction process, go to successtoolchest.com, download the free HIP awareness communication skill tool. It's free. You can download the PDF or watch the video for free to get a full explanation on what the process is that people use to communicate. And when we understand how people communicate, it makes us a better communicator, just because we know what the whole process is, what the other person's going through, and what we're going through. So download that free HIP communications awareness tool. Go out and make it an awesome day. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Go out and make it an awesome day. Bye for now.